Second question: if you could date any female X-Men member and possibly have one as your girlfriend, who would it be and why? Kitty. Third question: if you got turned into a mutant, what powers would you have, and would you want to join the X-Men? I'd have power to super speed or teleportation. They got enough of those on the X-Men as it is, so no. Alright. Moving on now to, thank you for this question, Shockwave. Moving on now to Timari603, who asks, do you feel there should be another X-Men animated show? Yes. Yes, I do. Second question, do you feel that Magneto and Storm got a raw deal in the X-Men movies? Yeah, I feel like they got, well, actually, no. Magneto's, now that Singer's back, he's kind of showcased in X-Men Days of Future Past, and as well as, what happened in First Class. I know that wasn't the Singer in charge, that was Matthew Vaughn. But yeah, the past two X-Men movies, they've really showcased how powerful Magneto is. Storm, I'm hoping for the same. She still got a little nerfed in Days of Future Past, but she got better. Hopefully they'll do the same here. Third question, do you feel like me the lame way they show the Juggernaut? Yeah, I'm hopefully they can fix that. Anyway, third question. Alright, thank you for those questions. Timori, moving on now to Lord Slayer, who asks, are there any X-Men you would like to see get a solo book who haven't so far? Storm's gotten one. I'd like to see, well, Nightcrawler had one. Wolverine's obviously got one. How about a Kitty Pryde one? Gambit had one. So, yeah, Kitty Pryde or Beast. There you go. Third question. X-Men Evolution team faces off with a team from Teen Titans show. Who wins? Gonna give it to X-Men. Third question. If they teamed up, who would you want to have? If they teamed up, who would you? I guess Teen Titans and X-Men Evolution. Who would you want them to fight? I guess kind of do like a mock version of the Chris Claremont X-Men Teen Titans crossover and have it be Deathstroke and Darkseid, or Slade and Darkseid. Whew. So, thank you for those questions, Lord Slayer. Moving on now to Treva Smolka, who asks, who is your favorite all-time X-Men? Beast. I've been a fan of Hank McCoy for a long time, so yeah, Beast. Second question, what is your opinion of X-Men Evolution? Again, I already said, yeah, I liked it. Third question, what is your opinion of the X-Men being sent to... Again, I already answered this one. So, sorry, Trev, like I said in the rules, if I already answered questions, I kind of skip them, but like I said, I already gave my opinions on those. Anyway, thank you for those questions. Moving on now to Imagine8, who asks, the 20th Century Fox X-Men get transported to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and meet the Avengers. What happens? We get a cinematic version of Avengers vs. X-Men. That'll never happen. Second question, if you were to lead your own group of mutants, who would you want to be your teammates? Dust, X-23, a lot of the young X-Men, basically. Yeah, a lot of the young X-Men. Who would you choose to be the new bearer of the Gem of Sidorak? I would have to go with... let's make it interesting and go with Ben Grimm. How about that? Thank you for those questions, Imagine8. Moving on now to W. Simmons, who asks, your first question is, what would the X-Men think of freedom fighters from Archie comics? I think they'd be cool with them. I think, yeah, fighting creatures that are like the Sentinels, yeah, I think they'd be okay with them. What would happen when Dr. Eggman and Metal Sonic and Zavik and Magneto team up? Magneto would be running that show. Metal Sonic would be like, I'm in control, and Magneto would just be like, no. Third question, what would happen if Nightcrawler and Styx teamed up? Nightcrawler would kind of get real sick of Styx real fast. So thank you for those questions, W. Simmons. Moving on now to Jake Gross, who asks, do you have a favorite X-Men Yuri pairing? Not really. There are some, I do like North Star's relationship. I do like North Star's relationship with his husband, and Yeah, but yeah, none have really shown up. But I guess if you were to go shipping wise, I think the one that would really work is Dust and X-23. Those two got very chummy sometimes. Or maybe I just read into it. I don't know. Anywho, second question from Jake Gross, who asks, "How do you feel about Toad?" How do I feel about Toad? He's all right. He's a character who's just like, oh, look, Toad, he's there. And now he's gone, bye. He's just a character for me. Who is your favorite team, X-Men or Brotherhood of Mutants? I gotta go with X-Men, depending on which version of Brotherhood it is. But yeah. So, thank you for those questions, Jake. Moving on now to Nicholas Harley, who asks, what would happen if Danny Phantom and X-Men teamed up? Oh, I am so glad you asked this question, because I actually recently had an idea for an X-Men Danny Phantom crossover. So, the idea I had for this crossover is that the X-Men are on the trail for Mr. Sinister, and the team I had in mind is Cyclops, Wolverine, Beast, Emma Frost, Kitty, Nightcrawler, and Colossus and Storm. But Emma and Beast have to stay behind, so it's just down to the other six. So what they basically find during their hunt for Sinister is that Sinister has been taking they find files from Sinister and discover that Mr. Sinister is looking into Danny Phantom, and they know from Cerebro that Danny Phantom is not a mutant. So they're really wondering, why the hell is he interested in this in this being? Because he hates magical anything. Mr. Sinister is a scientist, and Danny Phantom is something supernatural, and he hates the supernatural. So why is he taking such a big interest in this being? So they go to Amity Park to find Danny Phantom, and it turns out that Mr. Sinister is teaming up with Vlad Plasmius to create a more powerful clone of Danny Phantom. Yeah, it's a clone story. So that's kind of the idea I got. So think of that question. Second question, if the Brotherhood and the Homeworld Gems teamed up, how screwed would Earth and our heroes be? Pretty screwed. Third question, who's your favorite X-Men, hero or villain? I already answered my favorite hero is Beast. Favorite villain, X-Men villain, would have to be Mr. Sinister. That guy, lives up to his reputation. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Nicholas. Moving on now to ADS Hero, who asks, what would the X-Men think of the conduits from Infamous? Conduits from Infamous. Freaked out, but I think they would understand because they've been in that kind of situation before. Alright. Would the X-Men help out other superhumans in Heroes Reborn? Yeah. They're kind of like mutants as it is, so yeah. If you could transfer any X-Men mutant from mutant to inhuman, who would it be? None. I prefer them to be mutants and stay that way. Ugh, I had to get some water. Same those questions, ADS Hero. Moving on now to MSW Dark Angel, who asks, out of all the X-Men films we've had so far, which is your favorite and which is your least favorite? Least favorite, I'm gonna go with least favorite first. X-Men Origins Wolverine. That movie was a shit fest, and X-Men 3 was no better. But at least X-Men 3 had a semblance of a story. But the Wolverine movie, not the Wolverine. The Wolverine was actually pretty good. The X-Men Origins movie, no. Favorite movie, Days of Future Past. Second question, who would win between Jean Grey as Phoenix and Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet? That's a good question because, Phoenix, as Jean Grey, she fought Galactus and beat him, but so is Thanos, and if he had the Infinity Gauntlet. And it's the two most powerful cosmic forms. I mean, the Phoenix Force is a powerful cosmic being in of itself, but the Infinity Gauntlets are, infinity, so yeah. This is a tough one. I don't know. And third question, which of the X-Men could you see as companions or traveling with the Doctor? I'm going to have to go with Jubilee. I think she would have the most fun with the Doctor. If not her, Kitty Pryde or Rogue. So anyway, thank you for those questions. Dark Angel, moving on now to Nolan Uno, who asks, top 3 X-Men comics. I already answered this one, technically. First, and your second question, Bandit Incorporated, what Star Wars Attack of the Clones should have been. That's not really pertaining to the X-Men Q&A, honestly, so... Sorry. I mean, I'll look into it, don't get me wrong. I'll look into Bandit Incorporated. I don't know if I'll review it, but I'll at least try to find it and look into it. But yeah. Anyway, thank you for those questions. Nolan, moving on now to Sora versus Ka, who asks, what do you think would happen if A, X-Men Evolution Doctor Who crossover, when the X-Men meet the 8th Doctor? I think that would be cool. I think, like, maybe have it before the Time War, like, days before the Time War, like it's building up, or something like that. Second question, what if Davros and the Inquisitor from Star Wars Rebels were villains in the X-Men's Rogues Gallery? That would be scary. That would be something to behold. And third question, what would Magneto think of Van Cleise? What would Magneto think of Van Cleise? Though I think they would have a mutual respect for one another, honestly. I think there would be some mutual respect between the two, because obviously Van Cleise is what he's doing. He's being an extremist, yes, but what he's doing is for the betterment of his people. He's trying to, save save the Evos from, a group of people who he believes are just out to exterminate them. So I think Magneto and him, if they ever worked together, they would be a force to be reckoned with. So yeah, thank you for those questions, Sora versus Ka. And moving on now to the Grey Goblin, who asks, what would a mirror universe of the X-Men be like? Well, I guess the closest version of a mirror X-Men universe we had was, well, the Age of Apocalypse universe, where we had evil Cyclops and heroic Magneto. But if you want to go full on, I guess, like, maybe have that Xavier's the terrorist, and since he's he can mind control people. A lot of people, mutants are already the dominant race, and you have Magneto who's like, no, this can't be the right way, and his Brotherhood of X-Men would be the ones trying to stop. Well, his Brotherhood of Mutants would be trying to stop the Imperial world of the X-Men, or Planet X, or something like that. I don't know. Okay, X-Men. An X-Men team consisting of Cyclops, X-23, Pixie, and Beast versus Shredder and his mutants. Shredder, Raza, Tiger Claw, Bebop, Rocksteady, and Fishface. That would be a pretty brutal fight, on both ends. I mean, Shredder and X-23 going at it would be awesome. I think it would be cool to see, Beast and, Razar throw down. Honestly, though, I think I might give it to Shredder and his mutants, because they kind of outnumber them in this fight. But then again, Pixie has the power of magic, and she's a pretty powerful magician as it is. So, this is a tough one. This is honestly a real tough one for me. Anyway, so, yeah. Anyway, so, thank you for those questions, Grey Goblin. Oh wait, we've got one more. I'm sorry, you had one more. What non-DC Marvel comic book company would you let write X-Men if you could? Okay, outside of Marvel and DC, if for some reason, and whatever happens, because Marvel's crazy sometimes. Marvel be tripping sometimes. If another company got the rights to doing X-Men and solely X-Men, maybe IDW, because or either them or Image. Well, Image now. That way, Rick Remender's already there at Image, and he already knows how to write really good X-Men stories, albeit out there X-Men stories, but still. So, yeah, give it to Image so Rick Remender can write X-Men again. Yay! So thank you for those questions, Grey Goblin. Moving on now to 25 Kid, who asks, what are your top 5 favorite X-Men teams? Oh, okay, I'll answer this one. Top 5 favorite X-Men teams. In no order. And I'm gonna, X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force, Alpha Flight, and Young X-Men. So there you go. In no order, mind you. What are your top 5 favorite female members? Kinda already answered this one already. So, yeah. Third question, are you looking forward to seeing X-Men 92 as an ongoing comic series next year? Absolutely. I am very much looking forward to seeing the X-Men 92 universe being further expanded upon. that way you can do its own. It can be its own